Good afternoon. I'm David Painter, Clermont County Commissioner, and I want to thank the media for coming today. We have some important information to share with you, and we value your help in getting this information out to our community. I'm here today with the Village Administrator, Greg Roberts. Greg and I both are 60-year residents of New Richmond, Ohio, so this is very close and dear to our hearts. We want to thank all the residents of Clermont County whose lives have been affected by this flood and the corresponding tornado. We know that you're working hard and that we're working hard on your behalf. We'll make sure that you get the help that you need. We want to thank all the first responders and emergency workers who came to the aid of the Village of New Richmond and all the surrounding communities in Clermont County that have been impacted by the flood and by the corresponding tornado. We'd like to thank New Richmond Schools, specifically Adam Bird, the superintendent, for working closely with us and allowing the schools to host our command center and operations and to continue to host the Red Cross shelter there. We also want to thank those organizations that are helping us through this time and that will be working with us in the future in volunteer help and cleanup. So this is where we are. The river level is currently at 56.1 feet at 1 o'clock today. Flood waters are receding slowly. We don't expect the river to go below flood stage until Friday or Saturday. Rains that are forecast for tonight may affect this. Property damage. The county is currently assessing through the building department what damage has been caused here in Clermont County. So we'll continue to list that damage and work from that list. Today, the Clermont County Board of Commissioners approved a resolution to waive building inspection permits relating to the reoccupancy of buildings affected by the flooding. But you will still need an inspection and a permit related to the buildings that have been evacuated and those structures before you reoccupy them. Utilities. To get your utilities reconnected, first make sure all the flood waters have receded, including from your basement. Then clean your mechanical and electrical devices. After that, call the building department at 513-732-7213. They will take your application and start the process. Now I'd allow Greg Roberts, Village of New Richmond Administrator, to go over some details to help residents. Greg?
Thank you, David. I too would like to echo some of David's comments in terms of the great cooperation we've had from the media and other support. And also, I'd like to extend my thoughts and prayers to the other communities. I know New Richmond is getting a lot of the focus, media attention, but there are several river communities, Moscow, Shiloh, Augusta, Kentucky, Ripley. I know it's a little difficult for the media to get there, but they're suffering too. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to our sister communities along the river in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. I'm going to talk a little bit about personal needs assistance. Anyone affected in these areas in Clermont County with unmet personal needs should contact the American Red Cross at the flood hotline at 513-579-3048. We have representatives from the Red Cross here. I want to thank you. It was wonderful, the shelter that you provided for some of our displaced residents. Thank you very much. As far as donation distribution, we have a donation distribution site across the street where we are now at the First Baptist Church of New Richmond at 213 Western Avenue. Matthew 25 Ministries is there, and we'll be there daily, 9 to 6, at least through Monday. They have cleaning supplies and hygiene supplies. They are also working with Procter & Gamble, Tide, and Centos. The Tide Loads of Hope laundry facility, the trailer is here on site to help people with any laundry needs. Also, we have representatives from Lowe's that are in the village and will continue to be in the village with cleaning supplies and water. So please, we ask people, this is not a donation center. Do not drop things off here. They're being handled elsewhere. So as far as those donations, the Salvation Army is accepting donations at its 6 area drop-off locations. Those locations are open 9 to 4. They are accepting clothing, cleaning supplies, and non-perishable foods. As far as financial donations, they can be made at Park National Bank locations. They should be made to the Ohio Valley Long-Term Recovery Committee. They can also be made to reputable disaster relief organizations operating in all the affected communities. Volunteers, as far as any organization or individual who wants to volunteer, should contact the Clermont County Emergency Management Agency. That number is 513-735-8500. Your information will be taken and they will get back with you in terms of whether or not they need you. The need for an organized volunteer cleanup day is being assessed, and more information will be coming in the coming days. There has been a town hall meeting scheduled. That meeting is for residents of all affected communities, not just New Richmond. It will be held at 6 p.m. This coming Monday, March 5th, at the gymnasium at the Market Street School here in New Richmond at 212 Market Street. Officials will be on hand to provide information and answer any questions that the affected residents and individuals can have. There are still people who are displaced and are unable to get into their homes, and also would like to take note that there's this flood water still in many communities, including New Richmond, and people, some of them cannot even access their homes. Well, for the most part, currently, residents, at least in here, I can speak only for New Richmond, are cleaning things up themselves. We had the experience of the 1997 flood where we didn't have an established plan to have assistance from the county EMA group, from adjoining townships and such. And since then, we've established a plan, and this is actually the second time we've experienced this, and we learn things each time, and we get better and better in terms of how we deal with it. But again, no plan is perfect, but we've used this to work upon it. Well, how long do we have here? Probably not that long, but I'll give you a few little indications. As far as power, because the first thing you're concerned about in any kind of disaster is personal safety, the safety of your community. And so because of the rapidity of the rise of the river in 1997, we had to shut off power quickly as possible, and so we shut off virtually the whole village. Now, I wasn't here, but this is just what people tell me. And that upset people who weren't affected. And they certainly got over it, but this time it was very laborious. But Duke did a fantastic job in working with our fire and EMS people in shutting down individual properties that we knew were going to be impacted with the predicted flood level.
And I can further on some of that.
Yeah,
1997, what Greg explained there. I was personally impacted by that, so I understand the differences. I was on the ground down here through the entire flood. 1997, we hadn't had a flood of that magnitude for 30 years, and frankly, the people did not know how to prepare for it. It was a tough situation for everyone. This particular time went like clockwork. People had experienced this before. They knew how to make the preparations to get their belongings and to secure their safety. So I was down here at 1:20 in the morning on Sunday morning and right down in the middle of town, and I can tell you it was very orderly. There wasn't any frustration, and things were working right along like clockwork. I knew it was going to be a good outcome. In fact, the outcome has been so good, there has been no one hurt from this flood in Clermont County and no one hurt from the corresponding tornado. And I think that record right there speaks for itself.